Welcome to the commentary booth where we watch, and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator Jamie Apps, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of colour commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by a special guest, Pario Magazine's Victorian correspondent. Welcome back to the show, Jason Hauth.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
So, as always, when Jason is here, we're here for a wrestling review pay-per-view breakdown. This time covering AEW and New Japan's Forbidden Door 2023. Before we sort of dive into it, what did you think of the show overall?
Really good show, like really solid. Really made me want to get back into New Japan coming into G1 series.
Mm-hmm.
Like massive step up from their last pay-per-view outing from AEW.
Oh yeah, this was a much improved show over Double or Nothing.
This was the show of yes, this is worth taking a day off work for us Australians and sitting on the couch at 10 o'clock in the morning watching a show. This was just, it was a great show. Like, there is no real lulls in it. Perfect from top to the bottom, really.
Yeah, for me there was one sort of dud match, but everything else was...
Yeah, there was one. I was trying to be polite when I'm like, yeah, it was a good... That match was a good toilet break of botchery.
Yeah, everything else was really solid. Even the pre-show was back to the good old pre-show days of more matches rather than lots of talking, which was a welcome change from what we've got in the last couple.
Yes, exactly. Like, we made sure we had done all of our shit, put the stream on at 9 p.m. straight away, ready to go, which is an early one for us. But it was worth it. Like, every match on the pre-show was pretty solid.
And I think I sort of had that idea that this was going to be back to old school pre-show when before it had even started, announced 4 matches for it. I was like, that's an hour. There's not going to be a lot of hype packages and stuff. There was maybe 3 hype packages in the whole thing. And the way they still incorporated Renee and RJ, I thought that's what their pre-shows need to be like. They come in between, do a quick little segment, and then go to the next match. And they just have them moving around the arena in different spots. I thought that was the perfect way to use them.
Oh, definitely. Like a good mix of, we are here to advertise the show that you have to then pay your hard-earned money for, but look at the free stuff we're giving you. How cool is this product? Perfect.
And they were a good mixture of different styles of match too. We had the 6-man, the women's singles, the men's singles, and then another 6-man classic New Japan multi-man matches in the lead up, and then a couple of sprinkled in singles matches.
Yeah, no, every match filled a spot in. The women's match was great. The 6-man was great. Everything was perfect in a spot to, get you pumped for what was a great showing from both companies in this show.
And then before we sort of dive into breaking down the individual matches, with the overall graphic that was on the entranceway and what made up the Forbidden Door logo, did you notice what that whole background element of that was?
Did you notice that the door, the 2 O's, was a door?
That's not what I'm talking about, but okay.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you had noticed. The O's was a door opening. The Forbidden Door was opened.
But the round, portal looking thing.
I now that makes a lot more sense.
It's a extreme close up of Kenny Omega's eye.
I did see that, and I thought that was just standard Twitter make believe.
No, that guy's actually part of the production team, and
really?
What they've used to create this portal is Kenny Omega's eyeball.
That's actually okay. That's actually pretty cool. I swear, I thought it was just like Twitter make believe stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds about right.
That guy's like head of production or something.
But
So I thought that was a cool little like
okay,
touch.
that's actually a pretty cool Easter egg. It's ironic considering, like, I think Moxley was the true opener of the Forbidden Door.
He was the first one to step through it, but Tanahashi was the one that came up with the
yeah,
name.
Tanahashi, yeah. And then Moxley was like I swear somewhere like they're like Moxley working Japan was like Tony Khan had to like contact Japan, being like, hey, we're gonna send you our guy. Oh, cool. What you doing this weekend? Nothing much. Want to chat? Okay, cool. Let's do a pay per view together.
Yeah, I think like Moxley was the first one to step through it and like officially make these two companies are now, they're not rivals anymore. They're actually
friends.
Gonna be a little bit more open, because when AEW first started, there was a lot of bad blood from the break.
That was
the new president came in and off to the races since then.
Yeah, that was some ice cold tension.
So then, breaking down the matches, beginning the card with Mogul Embassy versus Chaos with El Desperado, which was, if you like watch New Japan, that's a weird combination, and I thought they did a great job of incorporating that in the entrance with like them going to do the pose and Despy looking back like, oh fuck, I gotta join in on this.
Yeah, I was curious like halfway through that match. I'm like, why is Despy, like, isn't he a part of, oh no, Suzuki-Gun doesn't exist anymore, so Despy's just doing Despy shit, isn't he?
Yeah, Despy's like just floating off by himself because just five guys sort of to the side, and he never went with anyone once.
Why is he with the best friends? Yeah. He's just off going, fuck it, I'm gonna do a death match.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's like, fuck it, I'm doing death matches now. So him teaming with like the best friends, which are part of Chaos, was a bit of a, I think I missed something here.
Yeah, it was weird when it was announced. I was like, wait, Despy, didn't he used to like hate Chaos?
Yeah, that was like, okay. I'm not going to question this because I just think I just passed out during half of this show. So let's just not question it and just move on.
Yeah, I thought that was really fun. Like the way they did the entrance and he just like kept walking down the ramp and then looked back like, they're doing the all hands in pose. So he walked back up like reluctantly, puts his hand in and just,
fine,
I'll do it. But he didn't want to do it.
When I come up with a really dumb idea, you're reluctant to go like, oh fuck, I have to go on this stupid shit.
And interested to watch the Independence Day shows coming up with Despy versus Mox.
And then Despy and Jun Kasai versus Moxley and
Homicide.
I'm blanking on who. Okay, fucking Homicide. Okay,
it's
why
be
not?
Mental.
I knew it was someone like just dumb. Like, your brain doesn't think of that person straight away, but yeah, Homicide, that is going to be great.
Be very violent, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I love my blood and guts, so I'm happy for that.
And yeah, I thought this match was like the perfect way to open because it was fast paced, lots of like silly spots, but hard hitting spots as well. Like, yeah, perfect.
A great show to, kind of make people go, hey, this show coming up is worth your $30. Give us your $30.
And I would love to see more Despy in AEW. Since Suzuki-Gun disappeared,
definitely,
he's been fantastic. He was incredible in the Best of Super Juniors.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, he was someone that was like, oh, he's just the guys from Suzuki-Gun. And I am really starting to grow on him. I really hope Tamashi brings him down here soon. Like I said, he's someone that I genuinely would go out of my way to be like, okay, I'm going to get out of bed half an hour early to go see this guy. And, I really want to meet this guy sort of thing there. Like, he's really grown on me a lot since he broke off. And this match definitely highlighted a lot of that. And his upcoming deathmatch.
I imagine if Impact hadn't taken over the New Japan weekend that we're about to go to, Despy 100% would have been on that show.
Oh, 100%.
It's
Yeah,
disappointing.
definitely. And yeah, that's a whole disappointment. Makes sense now when you realize I don't think they really want to go from Canada to
And
Australia.
then have to send all their heavyweight dudes back to Japan to then go and do 6 weeks of G1. Like,
Yeah, I can kind of see why we were told, okay, we don't have time in the
yeah,
schedule for you
this is
guys.
not an ideal time wise, so skip it. But
Yes.
we got an Impact show, so that's going to be fun.
Yes.
And second match on the show, Athena versus Billy Starks as part of the Owen Memorial
Yeah,
Foundation tournament. What a match!
that was Athena has like she was someone. I swear she showed up at like the Dynamite after Double or Nothing last year, didn't she? Or did she show up at
At
Double or
Double or
Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay, yeah, like she's someone that like showed up. I'm like, yay, she's here, and then it's like,
Then she went and did Dark for a bit to
like,
build up her her
yeah,
record,
the
so she
last
could have.
12 months didn't matter. Yeah, she's been on a freaking tear and a half, and this match was great. Billy Starks just looks incredible, especially considering. Did you know she's
She
only
is.
18?
She's the youngest member of that roster.
Yes, yes, she is definitely the youngest member of that
For
roster.
now,
Yes.
until about 2 weeks from now, until Nick joins, and then they're equal.
Oh, is Nick like 2 weeks older than her?
Uh, no, like
Oh,
he
younger,
officially
younger.
joins the
Sorry.
roster in a couple of weeks.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, she can hold that title for like 2 weeks till like he beats her outright. But in the women's division, she's the
'Cause, yeah,
youngest.
they're both 18. I'm just not sure exactly when their birthdays are.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like they've both done great in terms of like showing off. Yeah, Billy Starks looked like $1 million that whole match. Athena looked like a freaking killer and a half. Predictable ending, but yeah, like that was definitely a standout match for
Yeah,
the pre-show.
predictable ending, but I also could have seen it go the other way as well. Like I wouldn't have been shocked if Billy had won and it ended up being
Yeah,
like Billy Sky in the finals. Like I could have easily seen those two.
yeah, exactly. It was like that. Yeah, it's not like the Britt Baker versus freaking Ruby Solo show match where, yeah, guess who's going to win that
Yeah.
one? This one was definitely either way, you are happy with how it turns out. So, but it was solid. Athena just looks like a fucking killer and a half.
Oh yeah. Ever since she like turned heel and then went and worked ROH, she has been like phenomenal.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so I can see Billy being like, she's going to be a major star for AEW moving into the
Oh
future.
yeah.
Like, her and
Yeah.
Sky Blue are going to carry that women's division in like 5 years.
Which is great because like especially with the men's division, they talk about how you've got your MJFs, Sammy Guevara's, Darby, and Jungle Boy are your four pillars. But then, they say Kateshta, Ricky Starks, two other people that I'm blanking on are the pillars below the pillars. You know what I mean? They're the ones to take over the next, like, Sky Blue and Billy Starks are definitely that next generation of pillars to come up to replace, your Britt Bakers, your Jamie Hayters, and Tony Storm, and also, oh man, I'm blanking on the third, like, women's pillar there, but you know what I mean? They are definitely ones they are very obviously getting ready for that
Yeah,
next
and especially
position.
by like getting them involved in a lot of like big matches and in front of big crowds so early. When when Britt inevitably is pregnant and Tony leaves and Jamie hangs them up, like by the time Sky Blue and Billy Starks are like, here, now you're the champions and you guys are the top of the division, they're gonna have like 10 years of like experience. Like they're gonna be
Exactly.
ready to go.
Yeah, unlike the men's division, which has that problem of Jungle Boy gets the belt, it's like, oh, you got the belt because Brian's retired, Moxley's off playing in Japan, and the elite have gone somewhere else or whatever that situation be in a couple of years, the women's division does seem like that's more like, no, 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 Sky Blue should be freaking
Mhm.
champion. Or almost like as if the Gun Club. Like, at first you're like, they should not have been tag champions. I am now all on board with them being tag champs. Like, they are that next pillar of
Especially like
champions.
since the 50 Cent entrance. I think that's
Yeah.
solidified it, and they've
they
even
have
like
they have
improved on
definitely
that entrance recently too, with the water spitting with the in time with the gunshots. I'm like, that is so
yes.
cool.
That is perfect. Like the one from I think it was Dynamite was the one
Yep.
spit, and then on Collision it was like the dual spit, sort of
Yeah, I
thing
think
there. Like it was
Austin did it on
perfect.
Dynamite and got like a good reception from it. So then
Mm.
on Collision, Colton did it, but he did it in a slightly different way as well. So it was like it was unique to each of them, but still like consistent. I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and the women's division definitely has that upper echelons of people you can see replacing, the current upper echelons of talent. Um, and Billy Starks is a huge part of that.
And one of the spots that stood out to me in that match was senton off the rope onto the apron. She's a madman or mad woman. What a psycho.
Yeah, just fuck it, let's
That was
go.
like the
What is a
first of the
spine?
oh fuck moments from this pay per view.
Yeah, and there was a lot.
It
There
was a
was a
it was a
lot of
very
that
New Japan show.
shit.
Let's just drop people on their heads.
Yes.
Like, okay,
Who needs a spine or a
it's,
neck? Like,
it's
they grow on
replaceable.
trees. Fuck it, put some stem cells in it.
You break
Away you go.
those. Nothing bad's ever happened from a broken spine.
Exactly. Just put some spens. Like, I'm pretty sure they know a guy in Colombia that has some stem cells in his backyard they can ship and inject away.
Yeah, like I thought that was a fantastic match. That was if any of the
Oh,
like
that
pre-show
was
matches were going to sell you on, oh shit, we need to buy this pay-per-view, this was the one.
yeah. This was a like fuck it. That should have been on Dynamite or a any other show. And if anything, on the pre-show was probably just as good because I'd imagine a lot of people were watching
Mm.
that pre-show, for free or like how we were. We're like, well, put something on while we wait for the pay-per-view. And I stopped and watched that match, going, oh, okay, this is worth sitting down to see. You know, um, housework can wait 5 minutes while I watch these two beat the
Yeah,
shit
of the
out of each
four
other.
matches announced, this was the one that I was like, okay, that's the one I need to like properly
Yeah,
pay attention to, because these others are just going to be just spot fest, which they kind of were, but that one was a solid match.
yeah,
And
exactly.
then we moved on to El Phantasmo versus Stu Grayson. Nice, like solid showcase for both.
Yep.
Nothing too sort of outlandish and crazy. Cool to get like two local Canadian boys on the show.
Yeah. All I had to say is I'm glad the Forbidden Door really opened. Um, Logan Paul could not be there, but I'm glad he said he's like
Logan
stunt
Paul from Wish
double.
showed up.
Um, yeah, that's it. I'm glad it was like Logan Paul was busy. I don't know what he does. I don't follow him, but I'm glad, and that's why I'm sitting here with my prime drink, supporting Canadian Logan Paul. Good on him for the great showing.
But yeah, I think it was smart to put those two in that match as well, because I think, like Tony said in the post-show press conference, a lot of people sort of haven't realized that Stu Grayson is back with the company and like has a really cool story going
Yeah.
in ROH, that this kind of got to give you a little sneak peek of that. We also got to get the crowd really involved because it was two Canadians, and I would love to see more ELP in AEW or ROH.
Yeah, exactly. Like he definitely fits in very well for Ring of Honor.
Especially now that he's not Bullet
In that
Club anymore.
whole mix of things. Yeah, it is weird because I've been keeping on like New Japan and keeping up with things, but some things just slip your mind. So it's like weird when you're like, wait, wasn't that guy like Bullet Club 2 weeks ago? Wasn't Suzuki Gun a thing? And like, yeah, I have to remember. Oh yeah, a lot has
Oh
changed in
yeah,
the
New
last six
Japan
months.
is
So
very different these days.
Yes. So
Hell, Robbie Eagles
yeah,
has been
it
on 4
was a
teams in the
very,
last 3
very.
years.
That's just because like Robbie just gets around. Okay, Robbie is a little,
Little faction.
Don't tell him I
I
said
know what
this.
you want to say.
Yeah, he is a little
There
faction
it is.
slut. I don't want to make too much work for you, like having to like edit out the fuck shit I say.
Bullet Club,
It's a little
Chaos,
faction slut.
TMDK.
Like, yeah, I'm sure by the end of the time I sent this, the little sluts got around to, fucking, I
What
don't
Impact
know,
factions are there that he can join
fucking,
this weekend?
uh, fucking go back to Bullet Club Gold or fucking whatever's in,
Violence
like,
by Design,
there.
is that,
Like,
is that a
I
faction in
would,
Impact at the moment?
I think it still is. I just don't think they're down for the tour. Fuck, he's part of the Motor
Motor
City
City
Machine
Machine
Guns
Guns Down
now.
Under, let's do it.
That's it. Screw it. Jimmy's not from Geelong, the freaking, the Motor City of
No,
Victoria.
The Rogue Motor City Machine Guns Army? We're idiots.
Has there been a real tour unless like Robbie's changed teams? Like, it gets around. That's Sydney for you.
So then we closed out the pre-show with some, speaking of the Australian representation. Los Ingobernables de Japón versus the United Empire, which included Kyle Fletcher, TJP, and Jeff Cobb, which was a cool pairing. I'm disappointed we didn't get Francisco Akira, because Francisco and TJ have been absolutely killing it in New Japan recently. That tag team is so good.
Oh yeah, definitely. From what I watched on Dominion, they were really, really good in that whole junior tag match.
When Francisco initially came into New Japan, I was kind of like, oh, okay, another random junior that is sort of relative unknown, but he's been killing
another one of like. Yeah, another one that like Ospreay like just found on the side of the road. Like a
random Italian kid. Come on,
like a certain like little. Yeah, he's got that random Italian fucking Aussie bird that he brought in that backstabbed him and betrayed him, in Chaos. So yeah, fuck it. Is Robbie a part of like United Empire yet?
He's been offered the United Empire flag.
Oh, okay. So give it by the end of the week. All right, just double check. Let me know.
TJP
there. I wouldn't be
in the
shocked.
last World Series tour tried to recruit him and he turned it down and joined TMDK instead. Which makes sense.
By the end of the Aussie tour, he'll be a part of that.
There's too many juniors in United Empire. Bad idea.
Well, okay.
TMDK is the only one.
But yeah, sadly, yeah, TMDK, like that's got the nice Aussie, 3 Aussies in a group, which I can stand by because when you put 3 Aussies in a room, shit gets absolutely off the rails.
3 Aussies and a Brit. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, the things get very fucking weird then. And which I'm kind of shocked didn't happen in this match, but Kyle was the only Aussie in this match, unfortunately, because Mark is out for a little bit. So that kind of kept the Aussie level down a little bit here, which was upsetting, but it was a solid match. I was glad Hiromu was on the show. I was
a little bit disappointed we didn't get Hiromu and Shingo on the main card, but this was a good way to like at least get them included. Surprised we didn't get them like on Rampage or Collision or anything. Like if they're not going to be on the main card for the pay-per-view, put them on Rampage or Collision since it was taped the night before.
And give them that like Tanahashi versus like Shane Strickland, like that one win on pay-per-view, like just so they can be like, hey, he's 1-0 on AEW this year. So, but yeah, like this was a good show going into the main card, which was great. And yeah, Kyle being an Aussie is always great to see Kyle show up with his dopey looking face.
I just love that. As soon as you hear his music, Aussie, 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 it's like, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. Shit's about to get wild.
But yeah, that closed out the pre-show. Nice, solid pre-show. Definitely like got me excited more for the pay-per-view. And then we kicked off the pay-per-view with the AEW World Champion versus the apparent indie legend, Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yep. Yep. New Japan is an indie. MJF said so. So, kind of got to go with what the champ says there,
That was a pretty good
realistically.
entrance robe. Got to give him that.
That got a good reaction out of everyone. I'm like, no way, he's actually put
He
that on
literally
his.
made a robe for this one match.
Yep. And yeah, and then he even scheduled a tweet to go out like 10 minutes after the match started going,
Yep.
lol, I win. It was just
Yeah, that was very
genius.
well done. And classic MJF match, lots of just like arrogant
Yeah.
douchebaggery. And then, of course, he had to cheat to win.
Yeah, it was a very standard MJF match. Tanahashi somehow looking better than ever. Oh, not,
He definitely looked a lot better than he did
not
in
showing
the
his age at
collision
all.
match.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's hitting all his spots. He's hitting everything, and he just looked great in that match. And yeah, he served the role very well. Like if you're gonna put MJF against anybody from New Japan, Tanahashi's definitely the guy you want to see him in the ring with, just because Tanahashi is New
Yeah,
Japan.
yeah. He was definitely the one to go with because like you have that sort of legendary name and it's New Japan who pops up. It's
Yeah,
Okada and Tanahashi. They're the two guys. And it's not going to
exactly.
hurt Tana to lose to MJF with a screwy finish as well.
Exactly. Considering the standard MJF, pull the referee, get the ring, do the belt, do this, the low blow. Um, Everything kind of worked out pretty well there.
It's poor Tanahashi though. He's had the Swerve match, MJF. I think he's on the Impact show in like next week or something, and then he's got the G1. It's like Jesus Christ. Let's let the old fella have a couple
Yeah,
of days
he's
off before he goes into this crazy tournament.
it's like no, fuck it, we're going full on
Yeah,
G1 mode.
he's
Let's
in
go.
G1 mode already.
Um, yeah, someone's definitely hooked him up with some Colombian stem cells to be like, here you go, this will stop you from breaking down.
That G1's gonna be cool, especially if Eddie Kingston's efforts later in the show are anything to go by. That's going to be an insane tournament.
Yep. No, I definitely look forward to watching. I will actually go out of my way to make sure I watch every match in that tournament this year.
That's a commitment and a half because that's a lot of matches.
Yep. Luckily, I've got a lot of work. Turns a lot of a blind eye.
Uh,
So
then
yeah,
match 2 on the main card: CM Punk versus Satoshi Kojima. That
what a reaction to
crowd
Punk.
reaction. That's very loud, very mixed reactions for Punk. Even like in Chicago, the reaction was more positive than it was here in Canada, but still mixed.
Yeah, that was, and like I said, I messaged you just to make sure, like, me and Tyler's hearing wasn't off. We're like, that was more booze. That was a lot of booze. Um, yeah, Punk has definitely got his work cut out for him here. He's not very well
Yeah, but I
liked.
love that he's not doing the Cody mode where he's just like ignoring the booze. He's kind of
Okay,
feeding
now
off
you
it and
just like,
playing into it. Like he's just like, cool, boomy. I don't care. I'm going to go and do Hulk Hogan tributes spots.
yeah, that's exactly it. It's kind of like that parallel universe of what if Cody leaned into the booze instead of ignoring them and then being like, why am I not over? And like, yeah, all that sort of stuff there. It's wild to see it happen like twice in what, a year and a bit of the whole, the fans absolutely reject someone and this person be like, no, 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 fuck it. You want to boo me? I don't care. You're giving me a reaction. That is what we are paid to get. So thank you very much. I
And the
will
Young
take
Bucks
that.
do the same thing. Like they run their shtick no matter what, whether you boo them or you cheer them. Like they are the
Yeah,
Young Bucks, and that's kind of what CM Punk is doing. He's just being CM Punk.
exactly. He just made sure he looked a lot more cocky and a lot much like he just wanted to punch
Mhm.
a TV. to punch him when he was like being
And
a
I
dick.
love Punk in shorts. I'm a big fan of Punk in shorts over Punk in tights.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. Like Punk in shorts, way better look. Almost tempted to like buy some of those for no reason whatsoever.
It's either Punk either has to wear the
um,
shorts, which I would say is my preferred look for him, or the trunks,
yeah,
not the tights. The long boys,
yeah,
not the long boys,
not the
no long boys.
yeah. Long boys punks is like t-shirt
Yeah.
Naito. It's house show. It's house show, but it's like, oh, okay, this is the match I can go put the kettle on and, go do a couple of things. It's house show Punk. Shorts and tights, Punk is, oh shit, okay, we need to watch this. Punk's
Mhm.
showing up to work today.
And did you pick up on the reference to the Samoa Joe CM Punk ROH shoot interview during this match as well?
No, I did not.
So
No,
in the
what was
corner
it?
when he's hitting Kojima and he's going like, Kojima, lariat!
Yeah.
Kojima, lariat! In
Mm.
the shoot interview they did ages ago, there's a moment where he's like, yeah, and then you watch New Japan, there's this guy just going, Kojima, and he goes, lariat, lariat, lariat. I was like, cool random callback. Like,
Okay,
this whole match was just like
yep.
CM Punk being a jerk to the crowd intentionally, Hulk Hogan tributes, and memes.
Yeah. Yep, which is kind of what I expect from wrestling. Like that's all I give a shit about when it comes to my wrestling. Is I just want memes and like random,
especially in a
callbacks.
match like this. Like,
that
it's
explains.
not for a world title. It's not like in
Yeah.
a big spot. Yes, it's the Owen tournament, but you
You know
Punk's
who's winning.
going over. So play into the crowd.
Yeah.
Just do
And
smart ass.
Exactly. This was Punk deciding, no. If I come back and I'm going to face someone from New Japan, I want to face who I pick. This was his hand-picked opponent, and yeah, he got the match he wanted out of it, which you can't complain for at that. And yeah, the crowd just fucking ate him alive, and Punk, being the pro that he is, just went with it.
And I love the like back and forth with the chops as well. Like that was perfect. Sets up for a very intriguing potential second round matchup as well in the Owen tournament.
Yes. It's the Punk versus Roderick Strong.
Would be sick.
Yep, I highly doubt that's going to happen. Or Punk versus Joe, which is going to happen
after their little like encounter on the Collision debut. I'm very excited for an ROH run it back.
Yeah, oh yeah, because we'll find out about that on Sunday morning in Logger.
Oh yeah. Damn it, we'll be at the show.
Yeah. Yeah, the meet and greet and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, because the meet and greet starts like 10. Yeah, I know you got your stuff to do. I got dumb things to do, like drink alcohol all day. So
hopefully they got good Wi-Fi at the building.
We'll enjoy it on that one.
Chuck it on the iPad.
Yeah, I was going to
Sit at
say.
the merch desk with the iPad out, watching Collision. Sounds like a good plan.
I'm fucking just talk to the promoter and be like, can you just put Collision on the big screen, please?
And then following this match, we got a nice big announcement. All Out, September 3rd.
Yes.
Sunday after All In Wembley. And it's going to be on pay-per-view from the United Center in Chicago. A highly underserved market.
Interesting. Exactly. Like, I was sitting there, I'm like, you know what? Like, Chicago needs more pay-per-view.
Chicago just needs more
AEW.
Chicago. They haven't had enough in the last month.
Exactly. And, part of me is like, well, Punk can't get booed if he's in the hometown, so why not the logic in that? And, like, also at the end of the day, like, Chicago's strong. Chicago is so underrepresented in everything. I feel for them. They really
I suspect
need
the reason they're running this is because they know it will sell out, which perhaps if they'd gone to some random new town the week after All In, maybe would have been a struggle.
Well, that's what I find interesting is, like, me and you both have a very common little friend, a little click friend who we both know got his little passport sorted. We know who's flying to London and all that stuff there. They're spending their savings to go there. I don't like. It'd be a lot of locals who just are like, London's too far away. That's another country. We beat them in the Revolutionary War. Why would I want to go there and see them? Blah 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 blah. Boston tea parties. I don't fucking know. I've never been to Boston. I don't know my history. Something, something, something. Fucking George Franklin or whatever. They probably don't want to leave their country, so they're not going. But if we lived there, we'd be going up to England and we'd be like, I don't think we can get the time off to go to fucking, Chicago.
Back-to-back weekends.
The week after.
Big ask.
Exactly. So that's why I'm like, it's smarter than going to Jacksonville, where, again, Jacksonville's I would imagine, a flying crowd. Vegas is a huge flying crowd. You're not going to do a show in London and then do a show in freaking California and tell them, like, lol, get to California in a week.
Other side of the country.
New
York would have been interesting.
You want to stand there.
But
New York would have,
but
also again, like, it's such a... That's your fan base that's spending $3,000 to go to London for the week. And, like...
Chicago's central to everyone.
I've looked into it.
Easy if people are going to travel from different parts of the US, it's
our train ride, I think it is. Yeah. And, like, I looked at it and I'm like, if I'm going to London, I'm not going there for flying to London Friday morning, fly out Sunday night.
Yeah, because there's no Dynamite. It's not like you're going there for a week of shows.
Yeah. But also, like, you're going to a new country. So you want to experience it. Kind of a little bit shitty I can't be there to experience a little friend of ours, like, first trip on the other side of the road. Be like, let's go! Get in! Let's do some... experience some British food. But yeah, I don't know, like, at least it's a safe bet in that Chicago market. And the United Center is interesting because I remember, like, and also, like, the Wintrust Arena / the Now Arena, what it used to be called. Or I'm just stupid and getting too different confused. Like, because I thought the Now Arena is the one they did the first All In at, and that's the one they said we're only ever running this venue for Chicago or whatever. And now they're like, nah, fuck it, we're going to United Center. It's bigger and better.
Well, I think it's the biggest arena in the country. Like, biggest indoor, like, basketball arena. Yeah.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that. Oh. It doesn't shock me at all, but yeah. It's not Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden is technically pretty small these days.
It is small. It is also very easy to get to. There's a freaking train station underneath it. It's so easy.
It's expensive to run.
And I'm pretty sure there's a certain company that would make sure they never fucking run that.
Running there, but Arthur Ashe, I think, is a cooler looking stadium.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, look, All In being the week after is very, very, very All Out. Sorry, being the week after All In is very, very, very interesting. Tony Khan's comments during the press conference about All In, very interesting.
Especially because. This announcement said it would be on pay-per-view, but then in the post-show, he mentioned that there may be other things that he's not allowed to talk about at the moment. All
In is a bit question mark, but All Out is 100% on pay-per-view, which is a part of our fight bundle that we could have bought. But then, I didn't because I'm like, I'll deal with it later. But All In's not a part of that deal, which is interesting. Plus, also, I don't want to get up at freaking 6 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning to watch a British show.
You're planning to get up
too early for
to
me.
watch Money in the Bank, but you're not going to get up to watch All In Wembley. You're an idiot.
There's a difference. Do you think me and Tyler are going to go to bed?
I hope so.
When we're drinking all night. You're gonna learn the hard way, boy.
I might have to get me a hotel.
Yeah. You might have to see if you can get your little bird mate to come and shut us up.
Right.
Like, it is going to be very interesting. Like, at least they're running the safety bet in Chicago because Chicago is always a hot crowd, and hey, Punk can't get booed in his backyard.
Yeah. Then from there we moved into the International Championship 4-way, Orange Cassidy, Zack Sabre Jr.,
Yeah.
Katsuyori Shibata, and Daniel Garcia. Another like really fun match. Garcia continuing to play his role as the cocky sports entertainer against wrestlers.
Yep. And yeah, every match I'm like, oh, okay, Orange Cassidy has to lose the belt here. This is the match he loses the belt in. This is the match, and every match he somehow finds a way. Like I was convinced, okay, Zack Sabre Jr. doesn't make sense for him doing the belt here, but okay, we'll see what the bigger picture is. I guess Daniel Garcia can win here. You know, he doesn't have to pin him. He can pin someone else, and then it's like, nope, Orange Cassidy wins. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I was convinced he was losing it here because
Yeah,
why
because this
not?
would be the way to like have him lose it, but like still look okay because it's you could have had Garcia like Orange Cassidy won this match the way I expected Daniel Garcia to win this match.
Exactly, yes, and that's why I was like, he's not win like okay, he's beaten down, he's sore, he's tired, all that sort of stuff, and yet he came out with the win, and I'm like, oh, this is the running theme every week. Everyone's convinced this is the week he loses. This is the week he loses. Um, which is interesting way to take it. And Shibata's back in the ring, which is just fucking
And he was just
incredible.
booting people, which was great. Um, this
Yeah,
match made me really want to see more Shibata versus Zack. Like that, their interactions were great.
yeah. Makes you want to go back through the New Japan archives to go find their original matches and all sorts of stuff there that they had. I think the RevPro stuff might be on there, or it might be on other sites to find their RevPro series of matches that got Zack signed. So, but yeah, it's weird how these matches are exposing a lot of people to a lot of new talent and getting them on board with, oh, okay, this guy's
And I think
really
that's
fucking
kind
good.
of the whole point of these shows to like it works
Yeah,
both ways. Like Japanese fans get to see AEW guys, and AEW fans get to see some of these crazy Japanese fans and Japanese wrestlers, and
mm.
technically an ROH wrestler in this one as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like three different, as Kevin Kelly said, three different promotions champions in one single match, and technically four because Garcia is the
That would have
PWG
been great if
champion.
he came out with that and just been like, "Look, I got one too."
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't understand considering Excalibur's there on commentary and like owns PWG or has a stake in it. He can be like, "Here, take this green belt and walk
Yeah,
out with
that would have been
this."
very cool. Just have them all
Um,
standing there, champions from different promotions.
it, it, exactly, like that is perfect sort of thing there. I don't know if like PWG exists in the multiverse that is AEW.
I guess they do.
Um,
Jericho was there, and they promoted that Jericho was there.
Jericho was there, and they briefly mentioned it, but I don't know if it's like an Easter egg in the universe. Like we're talking like Spider Verse, Flash universe here of like, oh, was that an Easter egg or is that
Yeah,
canon event? Um, sort of thing there. I'll switch over to like Cultaholic to do a breakdown of all the Easter eggs involved in this show.
it we mentioned sort of Orange Cassidy coming out with the win unexpectedly. It makes me wonder
Mm.
who who beats Orange Cassidy.
From what I can see, they're doing a three-way. Like the next match is a three-way winner takes all title
Jeez, that'd
match.
be weird.
Is what I gathered from the end of this. Like they kind of did the whole "my belt's better than yours," no, my belt's better than yours thing at the end of the match. That like Death Before Dishonor is it like a three-way winner takes all title match?
Maybe. Yeah, just
But then that means Zach's got to be on AEW more, and Shibata's got to be on like AEW more, or Orange Cassidy just goes, "Fuck it, I'll work in three shows now."
yeah, yeah. It's like I like every time he wins, I'm like, oh, there goes another potential challenger. Like now, who's going to get it? Maybe I don't know because I can't
Like,
imagine it's going to be one of the like Collision exclusive guys because they've got the TNT title.
yeah, that TNT belt is very firmly placed on the TNT show, which makes all the sense in the world. So Yeah, it's going to be very like, and that's one of the good things is when you have a champion like, okay, who is going to beat this guy for the belt? Instead of, oh my god, when's this guy going to lose his title? It's like, okay, who's going to get the rub of beating Orange Cassidy in his
Mhm.
record-setting
Yeah,
reign?
like I'm just trying to think of like who's on the roster that could get it.
Guitar Man.
No, please no.
Guitar Man goes
Please
wee
no.
woo.
Maybe Darby again, but that'd be
Guitar
weird.
Man go wee woo.
Maybe they go back to like Sammy if he turns on Jericho this week, like I'm expecting.
That's kind of what I'm expecting as well, yes. But like, I don't know, like it's kind of one of those things. I'm like thinking like, do they go like a three-way title for title for title? Which I don't know if that's ever been done
Yeah,
before.
that'd be epic. That'd be weird. Maybe
You know
Takeshita.
what I mean? Like a three-way title for title for title, and then like Takeshita can definitely, but like he's also one of those guys. Like I wouldn't be shocked if like no,
Yeah,
you're getting the
yeah.
world
You
title
don't
in
you don't
5
win
years, and
any
that's it.
belts
Like
until
you're not getting. Yeah, you're getting the that your only AEW World Champion
yeah.
push, and that's about it. So you get some New Japan belts, but you're getting only one AEW title, and that's the
Yeah,
world
I know.
title.
It's
So
cool to see like Orange Cassidy continue on this run and sort of see where it goes.
oh yeah, exactly.
So then we moved on to the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, Sonata versus Jungle Boy.
Yes,
Pretty
yeah.
unmemorable match, sadly. The biggest talking point coming out of this was like the post-match interaction with Jungle Boy and Hook.
When you said that match, all my brain went to was the Krusty Clown slideshow, Luke Perry, and people that had photoshopped Jack Perry's face onto Luke Perry, and be like, that Simpsons memes. That's all my brain went
Yeah,
to for
like
this whole
it was
match,
solid.
which kind of
There was
describes
nothing
where it
bad
went.
about it, but there was nothing like outstanding, which I kind of hoped
It
for. I
was a
kind of
good,
hoped it would be one of those ones
yeah.
that you go in there not expecting much, and then they like just over deliver, and it's really awesome. But
It's one of those matches where you watch it, it's great. It's one of those matches you can kind of go, all right, cool, this match is on. Time to go get some firewood, make sure the ducks have enough water and food, come back inside, the match is still going on. All right, sweet. Sort of just, you know, background noise, really. Oh, okay, match is over. Yep, Sonata won. Like, Sonata, IWGP champion, is just 3 years too late for me. He would have made a great COVID champion, like Evil. Well, actually, that's really bad. That's probably the most
it would
dumbest
have
thing I've
been
ever
way
said in
better
my
than
life.
Evil. Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, Evil. Like, it's just one of those like, what happened during COVID? Or why was this person
I
champion?
have
Why
no
did this
idea. I
happen?
have no idea.
Um, and yeah, him as champion here, he was definitely in that spot of middle of the card champion. I want to see Taz versus fucking like Jungle Boy. That's all I want to see. I just want to see Taz. Just book
If
it.
they
I know
can
it's going to
somehow
be
get Taz and Hook
smoke and
versus
mirrors.
Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
I thought you were going to say Luke Perry. I was going to like, fuck
No.
me, that's dark.
Taz and Hook versus Jungle Boy and Lucha, or Jungle Boy and
Jesus.
Christian or something like that could be cool.
That would be cool. And like I said, like, even if you just advertise on Dynamite next week, like, 2 weeks, fuck it. It's, Taz's in-ring debut. You can do all the smoke and mirrors of, he gets attacked before the match, all the WWE shit of smoke and mirrors of, well, legally we gave you the match we
Mhm.
legally advised, but nobody took a bump. Nobody did anything. I'd still be
Yeah, but
happy.
I don't think there's anything like
You know what I mean? Just hearing.
preventing Taz from having a match. I think it's just that he's old.
I think he's old and he's just
Yeah, but I
next
don't think it's
fucked.
like
But
if I take
I
one
don't.
bump, I'm gonna die fucked.
Yeah, it's not like everyone else on the roster where it's just like Sting. Like, if you sneeze, your body will disintegrate. I don't think it's that bad.
Especially with
But
how
like,
pissed he was on commentary.
I'm
Like,
just saying, like, yeah, that's it. It would be perfect to see Taz just go, fuck it. You come after my like, because that's the thing. Like, this is finally Hook's big break from other than being the cold, handsome devil Hook that's mysterious. It's like, oh shit, he
Yeah,
actually
now
has
we can
something
see
to work
pissed
with
off
here.
Hook.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. Like, this is great for Hook. Like, I think theoretically both people should come out of this looking good.
Oh,
I just want to see Taz. I just want to hear that beep, 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 and like Taz walking out pissed off.
I
That's
think this
all
is
I want to
great
see.
for Jungle Boy too. I think his character sort of needed a refresh, and like to now get to see him go full bad guy is going to be awesome. And I love that I texted you and Karina
It's
like towards the end of the match. I'm like, obviously Jungle Boy's
mm,
losing. Um, after like earlier this year, he promised I'm going to win a singles title. I I'm so
yeah,
looking forward to the moment of like, fuck it, I've lost it, the AEW World Title. I've lost challenger for the TNT title. I've lost challenger for the international title. I've lost challenger for the IWGP title. Fuck it, I'm going after the FTW World Title. I'm going to win it, and I'm going to prance around like the biggest cocky
yeah,
prick. That's the greatest thing ever.
exactly that. That's exactly like he held the belt up at the end. It's like, well, fuck it. This is a belt I can win. I'm
And
going
I
for it.
technically kept my promise. I
And
won a singles title.
exactly, and it's one of those things of like you could see heel Jungle Boy being someone that kind of like you want to root for, but you're not supposed to. At the
It's
same
like
time, you know what I
Christian.
mean? It's like,
Like you
okay,
want to
he's
go
a
for Christian, but
dickhead.
it's like he's
Yeah,
just an
exactly.
asshole. So fuck you.
Exactly. I know I should not be cheering for you, but you're too good not to cheer for. And that's definitely where I can see they're going to take that Jungle Boy in that cool hero aspect. And yeah, I'm all for it. Like, that's, like, I love the fact they also did, like, the NXT fake out of the end of the match. They're walking up the apron, they go back to the announce table, and then, oh, look. Like, it was almost as if they're ready to have the
Yeah, like, oh
copyright
wait, no,
graphics
something's
show
happening.
up.
Hang on a second.
And Fade, yeah, oh, but yeah, that's what they'll kind of go, which was good because like I was convinced they were going to do it on Dynamite, and I messaged you that going, well, I guess we know what's happening on Dynamite before I could send that message.
Yeah,
Shit, they
like
did
I said,
it.
I expected him to eventually turn on Hook, and it still took me by surprise the way they did it. I was like, oh shit, it's happening right now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So definitely a big moment to
Yeah.
come out of the pay per view.
So then we moved on to a story that's kind of been carrying and chugging along for a while, but possibly by the looks of it, getting a payoff in Boston in a
Mm.
few weeks. The Elite with Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii versus Blackpool Combat Club with Konosuke Takeshita and Shota Umino. This match was pure violence
Mm.
and chaos.
Yeah, exactly. That. Like half the match was just 2-on-1. Like
There was
tag
no
teaming
tagging
guys in the
going
ring and all
on.
that stuff. They're absolutely incredible. That was it. It was just
It's
all
constantly
over the
people
place.
rolling
Like,
in, rolling
and
out.
like
Like,
before we,
no.
yeah, and Mox coming out to his New Japan theme
Yeah.
was just
Like,
incredible. Before we
that's
skip
one of
over
those
that
things
part,
where if they just used that theme for the BCC moving forward, like anytime they had like a group match, I don't think anyone would care. Like, keep Wild
yeah,
Thing for just Mox singles
I
matches.
see. See, the only thing I don't like about that theme is it feels like a knockoff of his WWE
I
theme,
think that's the
like
point.
that.
That's classic New
We
Japan.
legally can't. Yeah, no, no, like it feels very local indies of like, yeah, so we got Moxley on the show and we're live streaming it, so we can't do his WWE theme that we found on YouTube. So here's his knockoff theme, like
Yeah.
very WCW esque. Of like Sting coming out to Seek and Destroy. No, I mean not Seek and Destroy. Totally not Seek and Destroy by Metallica. We've changed one note. It's
Yeah.
totally a
I know.
different
I
song.
like it. I'd be happy with it.
Um, yeah, it was definitely different, and it made the show feel different. It made that it was a little bit different. Him coming out and just having a
And
war.
I'll give a shout out to Karina. She spotted a production mistake during Eddie Kingston's entrance as well. Did you happen to notice the production mistake?
Mm.
So
No, I
as he
did not
was
know.
walking down the entrance ramp on the Tron, there's like 2 bars on the very edges that were
Yeah.
black that said Darby Allin. Like all of the
I know you're a
Tron
little
was
bit.
Eddie,
Yeah.
and then these 2 like the 2 bars down the
Yeah.
side were Darby. I was like, oh, whoops.
Yeah. Whoops. I know your little bird mate was not happy about Zack Sabre Jr. coming out to
Yeah,
his
and
old theme
not the
as
TMDK
production
music.
errors. Yeah, yeah, that was like I know that was a production error. Production team did have a little bit of a couple of mistakes
Yeah, they've
throughout
been
the
getting a
show.
little bit sloppy the last sort of month or 2.
Yeah, they're definitely on cruise
Like
control at this
missing
point.
spots.
Showing Moxley talking to the Bucks on
Yeah,
the outside of the ring, like huddled around, having
or
a little
like
mom's call
using
meeting.
camera angles when there's about to be like a run in where you can see the cameraman standing on the entrance ramp. It's like, oh, come on, guys.
That is the one thing that like I kind of miss about being at big
Yeah,
shows like
you
this.
see all that.
Was like when you're in the arena, it's like because me and Tyler were sitting on the couch. I'm like, oh, I wonder what the next match is, and like when we're in the arena, it's like he like the double or nothing. When he came back, I can't buy any
Yeah.
beer. The Moxley's up there and they won't let me buy beer, and like pissed off and annoyed. But we're like, okay, well we know what the next match is. Like midway through the match before it, sort of thing. Like or when you're sitting in the arena and watching the match,
You
you're
see
like,
a cameraman just
a
run up the
cameraman just
ramp. You're like, oh, what's
bolted. Yeah, like, yeah, wow, I wonder what's about to happen next. Like, it's always, like, that's the shit you experience in the arena that
you're
when you're
not
sitting at
supposed to see?
home, if the cameras are done right, you don't know that there's a cameraman sitting right out front of, like, the stage, ready for someone to come running out. Like, when, like, you don't notice that. But when you're in the arena, you do. So those production mistakes were cool, but it also does ruin it in aspects of like, oh wow, I wonder if someone's going to come out in about the
It
next
takes away the
30
shock value.
seconds.
Speaking of like production, did you notice the 2 little subtle things that Punk and Jungle Boy both did after their matches?
The little like the wavy taunt sort
No,
of thing.
so Punk, when he went to go back through the curtain, he teased going through the heel tunnel, but then went back through the face side.
Oh yeah.
And then
I
Jungle
did
Boy
see
did the
Jungle Boy
opposite.
did
He
do
teased
that,
going
yeah.
through the face one and then went through the heel
Yeah.
tunnel. So nice little subtle things.
Yeah. I did nice little subtle things, but like this match was just fucked. Like the whole 10-man tag, absolute clusterfuck. Eddie taking those super kicks from the Bucks to save Moxley and all sorts of stuff there. Like that was a nice
Interesting
touch.
to see where that continues to go with the Eddie Mox storyline.
Exactly, considering like Blood and Guts is coming up. He's off to Japan and like G1 starts at the end of the next month, doesn't it?
July.
Yeah, plus like the whole Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view, like him versus Claudio. Like it's very interesting. Like he's come back at the perfect timing to be slotted into everything, like absolutely perfectly.
What else stood out to me in this match? Takeshita.
Just a lot of shit.
Ishii like he owed him money. Holy shit, that guy hits hard.
Oh my god. That was fucked. I'm just like, I've never seen Ishii
crumple.
Play dead. Just lie on the floor and like, that
Takeshita forearm was
like,
mental.
wow.
Oh shit.
That was fucked.
And Takeshita and Shota had like crazy good chemistry for 2 dudes that had never even been on a show together.
Exactly. And see, that's the thing that shocked me the most was I thought Shooter was in that match just to take the pin.
No.
Oh shit! That is fun.
Wheeler Yuta was always taking the pin
Wheeler was after he got the pin in Anarchy Arena. I'm like, okay, Shooter's taking the pin, and like Ishii winning was like, what the fuck? Very, very.
And I love that Wheeler keeps taking the pins, and it's just pissing Danielson off more and more. And like every time he gets pinned, he's like, right, gonna have to slap him again. Make him do bridges in the desert.
Exactly. Like he's gonna get slapped in the face.
What else did we get? Oh, the Mox Eddie chop battle with like
Oh
a
my,
war happening
that
around
was
them. They're like, nope, let's
just
just keep chopping.
fucked. Yeah,
That was nuts.
just that was
Noticed,
fucked. Like the whole match, just everything. It was just so balls to the wall. Like I tried to like take mental notes for the match, and I'm just like, fuck it, Jamie. This is Jamie's job. I'm just gonna
enjoy
sit
people
here
just
and
like
enjoy it.
absolutely hammering each other. There was no like holding back. And if Punk doesn't like people hitting him, he
Yeah,
must have been watching this being like, what the fuck is going on in this match?
that is the one thing I see freaking hilarious was like, yeah, he's like, oh, Hangman chopped me too hard. He hates me. And then he's like, what the fuck did he do to Kateshka to piss him? Like, what did Kateshka do to him to
Yeah,
be
those
hit
guys were
that
pounding
hard?
each other. And did you notice the move that Claudio and Wheeler hit as a tag team move as well?
Yes, the
Yeah,
swing into the drop
classic
kick.
Kings of
Like,
Wrestling.
that is TJ. Yeah, no, I thought that was TJ, Natty's husband. TJ,
Tyson Kid.
fucking Kid. Tyson
No,
Kidd,
that's
that's
a
it,
Kings of
yeah.
Wrestling move.
Um, I swear they did it as well, but yeah, it's more
Yeah,
Kings of
that's a
Wrestling move than anything
Claudio
else.
and
Yeah.
Chris Hero move.
Yes, like I would love, and this is just absolutely off the rails fan booking. Yeah, you do Eddie versus Claudio at the pay per view for the Ring of Honor belt, and like just have Chris Hero show up. Just have him show up. Just stand on the ramp and be like, "Hey, X beat Y. It's over. Enough's
Yeah,
enough. Stop it, kids." So that as not involved in anything, just have him show up to be like, "Okay, kids, stop it." So yeah, that
yeah, I
was a
love that.
nice reference there.
And then the last thing that sort of stood out to me in this match: can we please get Takeshita in the G1 next year?
How is he not booked in the G1? Like, how is he not booked in the New
I
Japan
expected
shows?
him if like Eddie's in the G1. Surely Takeshita's in it, unless he's got. He must be playing a big role in Blood and Guts, because I'm pretty sure that's once the
Oh,
G1 starts. So he maybe wasn't available.
oh yeah, like it's definitely one of those things that like unless he's got like bigger plans for the whole summer where they can't be like, yeah, just fuck Japan for 6 weeks. We don't give a shit what you do. It's more no. We need you here to play a major role in this story going forwards. Especially with Don Callis as he's like
Yep.
manager is a
Yeah,
nice
so
touch.
that's okay. Next year, Chuck Takeshita in the G1 with how he pounded Ishii
I would not be
this
shocked.
match. Jesus Christ, that kid in the
Yeah,
G1 would be insane.
there's a lot of people on this show where I'm sitting there going like, surely they're in the G1 next year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's the politics seem to subside of like, fuck it, we had Tanahashi lose to MJF. Like, there's no we have freaking Okada lose in the main event. Politics aside, we can have some AEW guys go to Japan and lose a couple of matches
Yep.
and not look too bad. In regards to
And
that sort of
like
thing
Wheeler
there.
was in
So
the Super Juniors last year, so
yeah, exactly. So, and it's like Moxley was in the G1
yep.
2019, I think. They wrote him off with the stupid eye spike thing, and he worked the whole thing with
Mm-hmm.
the eye injury sort of thing. So, everything's finally where it should have been in the timeline of events. We just, the last
Yep.
3 years just didn't happen. So next year, I really do think I would not be shocked if it's like, fuck it, here's Moxley,
Yeah,
here's
I could see
Claudio,
there
fuck it,
being more than one
have those guys.
AEW representative in the G1 next year.
Yeah, exactly. I think this year was kind of like, oh no, we're fine. They got to this like BCC versus Elite feud that we've been teasing for so long. Can you guys
Especially
wait
if
a
like
little
next
bit?
year we sort of start to see
Um,
like guys like Ishii and maybe Tanahashi deciding not to do the G1. Like it's a pretty grueling tournament the whole go
yeah,
get. So maybe let's filter in a few more outside guys.
yeah, yeah, Brian did speak about it during like the post show. He's like, I want to do the G1,
Yeah,
but
it's
I'm
also
also not
not a
an
good
idiot.
idea for my health.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the medical team, I trust science, and science says no.
Yep.
So I'm not going to do that.
So then we moved into the AEW Women's World Championship. Tony Storm versus the New
Yep.
Japan Strong Women's Champion Willow Nightingale. Another hard-hitting match that saw Tony leaving with another bloody/broken nose.
Yep. Like I said, Moxley didn't get blood in the last match, so Tony Storm was
Sweet, I'm
like,
allowed to
well,
bleed now.
there's an opportunity here. Yeah. Yeah, Tony Storm versus, breaking her nose is one of the best feuds
That
in
poor girl's nose
AEW at
is
the moment.
fragile.
Yep. So, yeah, that was a solid match. Willow coming out, Willow looked pretty good in her like
Mhm.
big match here sort of thing. Defending, showing off the New Japan Strong. Julia has called her out from Stardom,
Speaking of Stardom, did you notice what gear Tony was wearing?
which was I thought that was
No,
just her
that's her old
normal
school Stardom
like
gear.
Tony Storm.
Or very similar to her old school
I thought that was just like,
Stardom gear.
yeah, I just thought it was her like back when
Yeah,
she
her
was
red
in
and
the
black
UK,
Tony
sort
Storm
of
gear.
like
No,
Tony Storm.
it's
Yeah,
it's her. It
oh,
was her
okay,
red
that's
belt
what I thought it
champion
was. I was like,
Tony Storm
okay,
gear.
yeah, that's. Oh, yes. That no, nice references there to Stardom, which hopefully gets its own little event down the line or
I'm hoping next year
something.
Stardom are
So
smart enough to not book a pay-per-view on the same fucking day.
yeah, and hopefully teams don't everything kind of lines up perfectly. Like, yeah, no, screw it, we can do this thing,
Especially
no
because
problem. So
they're owned by the same company. Surely the New Japan boss is like, okay, let's not book a Stardom show on the same day as Forbidden Door so we can actually cross over and potentially help our Stardom business a bit more,
yeah,
because I think their streaming service is having some issues
exactly.
recently with shows being late, very late to go up.
Really?
Apparently they're
Oh,
like 2 or 3
okay.
months behind
Yeah. See,
on
oh,
if it's not a live show, it's like
nice.
crazy delayed to get put up.
Yeah, like I've tried to. The only times I keep an eye on it was when I see like a lot of gifts show up, and they're like usually day of, not on delay sort of thing. Like the show where Julia called her out. There was a cage match and all sorts of stuff there, so it doesn't help if things are on delay. I can't watch anything on delay
Yeah.
if it's not live. I don't watch it. But yeah, hopefully next year. Like I'm kind of hoping they do like a mini show like later in the year, sort of like a
Oh yeah,
makeup
do like
event.
a just like maybe cross it
Um,
over with like ROH and do like one of their shows is just a ROH Stardom crossover.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, this match was really good. Like, really, like Willow has definitely started growing
Mhm.
me a lot more. She's definitely shown it. I was thinking, surely, like Monet does not show up at the end of this to save like the beatdown or whatever, and then the beatdown never happened, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
on to the next match now. Oh,
maybe she
that
shows up
sucks.
when the Julia match happens or something. But yeah, I think Tony wearing the Stardom
Yeah,
gear was very intentional, because Julia's like challenge was, she in the ring she called out Willow specifically, but then in her post match comments
yeah,
said she wants to go to the US and open the Forbidden Door and go all over the place. So
exactly. Yeah,
I could see her challenging
yeah, and
Willow
that's
on
it.
a
Like that's
strong show, and then like because there's that Independence Day strong show coming up, maybe they do crossover Willow and
yeah.
Julia there, and then bring Julia out to the US and attack Tony Storm at some point.
Mm. Exactly, like, and that's kind of one of the last forbidden. Like that's like other than the door that will never ever be opened. Like Stardom, New Japan is. I mean, Stardom and AEW is probably one of the doors that still needs to be
100%.
opened. Yeah, and it's one of those things that it's like that's one of the things like I thought I was convinced at the start of AEW's run, like the Joshis and Japanese women, we're going to be their version of the cruiserweights of a what the fuck did I just witness? Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I need more of this. Plans change due to the whole fucking
The world just
last
shitting
3
itself.
years. Yeah, the world shitting the bed because someone ate a bat. Enough said. And it's like, okay, when are we going to get to that? Because that's that would help. And like I said, like I've always wanted to check out the Japanese women's stuff. I watched the Stardom New Japan
Hmm.
show. That was really impressive. I just also get lazy and forget about
Especially when
things.
like a lot of their
So
shows don't have
it'd
English
be not
commentary, it can be a little bit difficult to sort of you watch it and you're like, I don't know any of the
exactly that,
storylines.
and
I've got no idea. So it's just like, okay.
exactly, and like I said, at least they show up on AEW. You kind of go, oh, okay, I kind of like who to look out for. It's like, oh, this person's them. Oh, I've seen them on this, and it helps bridge that gap. Then I'll just chuck it on and see what happens, and be like, I'm not really feeling it. So I really want to see hopefully that door really open, and like I said, the strong title is probably definitely
Mhm.
the key
And
of
like
doing that.
also when you like, look at the history of a lot of the top AEW women's names as well, like Tony's been through there, Jamie's been through there. Who else has been through there? Billy has
I
Billy's
think
been through there.
Brit did a little bit, but she never properly went there. So I thought all the women had been there. Like all the major women, like Rio came from there. I think I might be
Yeah.
getting confused or
Yeah, Billy Starks
something like
has
that.
like literally just got back from there.
Yeah,
Who else? Tay Conti has been over there. Or Tay Mello, she's been over there. Yeah, recently.
has
She
she?
did a couple of shows over there.
Oh,
Like a lot of them have like either
okay.
had like full runs there like Tony did and Jamie, or they've
Hmm.
gone over, done one or two shows and come back. Like Willow's been over there.
Yeah,
I
but
think
I think
Athena had like a long run there as
I
well.
think the last couple of years have made hard. Yeah, she did pre WWE and all that sort of stuff there. Like I think a lot of the women should have been there or could have been there, but again, what happened the last 3 years, borders, yada yada yada, hurt a lot of people. Now that everything's open, like Mox is apparently going to Japan like every other weekend now or
Hmm.
whatever he claims. I wouldn't be shocked if a lot more women show up in Stardom, and that translates to more women, showing up on AEW with
Yeah,
that
yeah, I think
Stardom
that'd be awesome.
background of such. So yeah, definitely a huge gap and huge upgrade.
So then from there we went into sort of the home stretch with a couple of the main draw cards for this entire show. NJPW US Heavyweight Championship, Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. By far and away the match of the night, and for me, match of the year so far.
Yeah, yeah. Like I didn't know how they were going to top the Tokyo Dome match, and this was a very different match, but also in a good way. It wasn't just them doing the greatest hits. It was them going, no, no, we need to give these fans something completely fucking different, and they did exactly
For
that.
me, this is the top match of the year. Like
Um,
just beating out the last one. Like
yeah,
I remember watching the Tokyo Dome match and being like, they didn't do everything, and then they did this match, and it was better, and they still didn't do everything, like,
but
which
they
is
didn't do everything.
crazy.
Yeah, exactly that. Like, this was the more brawling, beating the shit out of each other that you'd have to think the third match, which, like, at this point is confirmed to be all in.
You
Like,
would think
you
so.
know what I mean? Like, all in 100%. He beat him in his backyard. Time for Kenny to beat him in his backyard or whatever. They're just gonna. That's where everything gets. The first two matches get merged together in terms of let's do a top rope DDT into a Canadian destroyer into a Spanish fly onto
Yeah,
steel chairs. Sort of spots of like, well, fuck me,
yeah,
this
because
is
like
off the
they've
rails.
kind of done
Um,
if they do all in, the trilogy will have kind of been
Mm.
backwards to what you would usually expect. Like Japan is kind of neutral ground
Mm.
for them. Like they're both outsiders wrestling in Japan. Then we went
Yeah.
Kenny's hometown, Canada, home country. And now we go to England, which is Will's home country. Like kind of backwards from what you would normally get with a trilogy. Like you would go one guy's hometown, he wins. The other guy's hometown, he wins. Okay, we got to go neutral territory, whereas they've gone the opposite. It's interesting storyline.
Exactly, which is kind of good because at least it makes you sit there and go, yes, clearly when you see in the first match, like everyone's like, okay, All In is the rematch. I mean, Forbidden Door is the rematch. It was that. But also, if they didn't do this match on the show, you would have been like, okay, they're doing something else. It wasn't set in stone that had to be the match. Because the story was neutral ground instead of home base, neutral ground. They did it in reverse, which really gave them the flexibility of, oh, they don't have to do it this way. So it was incredible. Absolutely fucking incredible match. The only critique I had from it was who was the mercenary guards. I was convinced like it was like Schrodinger's cat or whatever, where they have to play a part in the finish. Because you have two guys standing
I'm pretty
there.
sure one of them was just the standard AEW
They have
security
to-
guard with a face mask on. Because that guy's jacked.
Like, I'm sitting there going, like, is that the Basham Brothers? Like, I was thinking,
someone
like,
tweet
is this
that.
the Basham Brothers for some dumb reason? And I'm like, you know, it's like that, like, the Chekhov's gun, or whatever the freaking term is, you know? Then I'm like, they have
And
to
then they
play a
didn't.
part in the finish. And then they didn't. I'm like, oh, okay. Which was good because it wasn't the same old shit over and over, but it's also like, I want the same old shit. Like, I don't want anything different all the time. But yeah, like, they definitely delivered. It was bloody, it was violent, and that tiger driving 901
That was sickening.
That was gross.
My big issue with this match, though, was
yeah,
the Don Callis elements. He got tossed out and then still came back and played a part in the finish, which the ref like didn't then like try and toss him out again. I was like, what the fuck? Made the ref look like an idiot.
but they covered for that on commentary because they did turn around and like they did establish earlier. This is New Japan rules. The ref's not gonna bullshit count out, disqualify someone just to do a bullshit finish like WWE does. This is New Japan where no, we need a winner. We're not just gonna, you know, oh, you blew in the referee's face, disqualification, match over, ding ding ding. No, you have to really fuck up to get disqualified in this match. But yeah, it was dumb that they sent him away so they could then do the
and then
match
have him come back for the last
uninterrupted.
5 minutes.
For him to come back out, which it made sense because then you didn't have to do the whole match of every time they went to the outside, Kenny running after. Why is Kenny not trying to attack Don Callis? Why is Kenny, you know, like it made like I don't know if it's my brain coping or not, but it made sense, but it didn't make sense in that aspect.
I just wish someone else had come out.
I love the fact that they did
send Takeshita out, and it would have made more sense.
That's it. Yes.
Don has gone and got Takeshita and sent
exactly
that.
Yes.
He can't go back out there. But then Don just came back. I was like, what the fuck?
Exactly. Exactly that. It was like, why are you just returning to this well too many times? Because I was convinced Kateshita was going to like run in, hit a Psycho knee, and then Ospreay gets the pin, 1, 2, 3. That method of getting the win. Because I would like to say I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Kateshita versus freaking Kenny Omega 1-on-1.
Yeah, that's a big money match down the line.
Big time match for myself. So it'd be interesting to see. Like I said, it was good that they didn't just do like I was convinced that like the screw job to the face, the hidden blade, 1, 2, 3. Ha ha! He won by cheating. No, like you could argue that
kick out.
Ospreay, kick out was massive. Like Ospreay won clean. You know, he didn't cheat, but he cheated. But you know, that's after he kicked out of everything else.
Yeah, but I guess Kenny did the same in the Tokyo Dome match. Like, he drove Will's face through a table.
Exactly. Exactly, yes. So it was good that they ran it back in reverse. So, absolutely incredible match. Like, absolutely, probably, definitely one of my favorite matches of the year. And the fact they go, 30 minutes have passed, and I was
Yeah,
like,
what?
it's been like 15, 20 minutes.
I
Yeah.
I was also very intrigued by the fact that Will went back to the elevated theme because I thought he would go with the
Yeah.
United Empire Commonwealth Kingpin theme this time because he went for the aerial assassin elevated theme in the first match and lost. So I thought, okay, this time he'll go right.
Yes.
The aerial assassin can't beat the cleaner. Maybe the Commonwealth Kingpin can.
That was it. Like, when that music hit, I'm like, okay. And like, it was announced, the aerial assassin. I'm like, okay, things are gonna get really off the rails here.
And also, Will Ospreay is a sick individual. Licking Kenny's blood
Yep.
off his arm was the beginning of the sickness. Then he decided he was going to desecrate the Canadian flag, which was interesting. And then he used the crippler crossface.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck? In Canada?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
On the anniversary
was it?
as well. I'm pretty sure today.
Oh, it's in it's in June.
I think yesterday was. Well, yesterday was Night of Champions, which everyone turned around and said, "Oh shit, we've got Punk and Johnny, whatever the fuck his last name is, this week on a show together." Shit.
Yeah, everyone be safe.
Like, I think today might be the day he died, and tomorrow's the day they find him, or today's the day they find him, and or
Jesus,
whatever.
that's
Like,
extra fucked up.
it's kind of. Yeah, I'm pretty sure around because I do remember seeing some good Simpsons memes of like Homer looking up at the sky, and it's like, no, he's down in hell burning. Some very fucked up comments like that. So yeah, to use the crossface on this week,
Yeah, that's extra fucked up.
that's a choice after you use the sharpshooter.
Yep. And he also used the Kamigoye, which was an interesting move as well to use.
I did not notice that.
Grabbed the arms, hit the Kamigoye, and I was like, that's a Kota Ibushi move. What's going on there? And then we got a 1 count out of it. I was like, whoa.
That's... Yeah. I think Kenny knows how to get out of the Kamigoye pretty easily.
Trained that move a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I faced this guy 1 or 2 times too many to know how to get out of this shit.
We mentioned the sickening Tiger Driver, which... That was just like, please never do that again. That was scary.
Yep. And like I said, like, going back to the flag was a nice homage to Shawn Michaels in Survivor Series 97. And then, I don't think Shawn and Brett hit a Tiger Driver 91. That was just fucking sick.
As soon as he hit, I was like, oh. I thought he was legit.
Yeah, like, then you just,
It's like, there's no way he's getting up from that.
Yep. I said the replays, I'm like,
that
fuck.
Could have been real
That
bad.
is full on.
And also, anytime Will bleeds, holy hell, that kid bleeds. He definitely donned the Crimson Mask. Will's a gusher.
Yeah. Yes. Like, Kenny's bleeded a couple times to really harden himself up. Ospreay just goes full power.
Ospreay bleeds like Mox. Like, tiny nick, and it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. You wouldn't have thought this was the match with the most blood in it when Mox was on the show.
Interesting. Also, this was the only title change on the entire show.
Oh yeah, I think it's kind of the only title that probably would have changed.
The international
hands as well,
title I could have seen changing, but
that's okay. That was
this
one
to be the only title change.
Definitely would have seen changing, but a New Japan title. Kenny's like, fuck that. I'm not going to Canada. I'm not coming back to Japan. I can't bother.
Kenny's
to take it and go.
Kenny's got some big issues to deal with in Boston.
Yeah. But yeah, no, sick match.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
And then sort of bring the crowd down, give everyone a chance to recover from that craziness, which for me, that should have been the main event because there is no way anyone had any chance of topping that, even with Danielson Okada coming later.
Yeah, it's either should have been main event, but
On reflection, that 100% should have been Omega at home.
Like Bryan versus Okada was the dream match. The no fucking way this match is really happening. Sort of send the crowd home sort of thing there. But yeah, either sort of thing there. And the filler in the middle was some filler.
So we got Sting and Darby with Tetsuya Naito versus Losuki Gods. Joker Sting was a cool touch, but this match was a total mess.
Yeah, Joker Sting, which I thought we were finished with that. It's kind of ironic considering the next show's the UK, which is
when Joker
TNA
Sting
territory, which is Joker Sting territory. Yeah. Naito, we had House Show Naito. Couldn't be fucked taking your shirt off. Yep. It was very sloppy at the end there. Sammy is on track to become the new Seth Rollins by permanently retiring Sting.
I was going to say, was Sting supposed to take that move on the table? I don't think he was. I think he was supposed to move.
I've looked at he was not meant to. I think Sting just
I think he was supposed to move and was just
and it was just an
accident. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah, and Sammy being so fast, and you kind of need to be fast when you're doing a 640. You kind of can't do that in slow motion.
Because suddenly Sting was up to go into the finish before Sammy was up. Like, what the fuck? What is going on here?
Yeah, but also, again, considering Sting's, how Sting is booked, he could take a 640 through a table and then just jump up and be
Scorpion Death Drop.
Fuck it, I use my special ability. That's it. Boom. So, it was sloppy at the end. Definitely doesn't make me want to see Sting versus Jericho all that much.
Yeah.
But also, I'll tune in to watch it.
There's something about this match. I feel like they had their time cut significantly. And rather than they obviously didn't have time to rework it and come up with another plan. They just rushed through everything, and because of that, nothing felt like it had any impact. It was kind of just oh, quick, get this spot in. I was
when you've got two when there's 6 men in the match, and the youngest guy is there's two 28-year-olds and
90 years of experience.
The next youngest is 42. Yeah, it's there's a huge gap between, I'm pretty sure between Sting, Darby, and freaking Naito, all three of them combined make one kneecap. Mobility is not on their side.
It was fine for what it was, but
there was no crazy old man Sting jumping off things. Crazy old man Sting
eating 630s through tables on the floor.
Yeah. Which was the highlight of last year's show, considering I had a manager call me and it was Sting's balcony dive, and I'm like, what the fuck? He's on the phone, he's like, what are you doing? I said a 65-year-old man jump off a balcony through tables.
That makes sense.
And his response is, for fuck's sake, what are you watching? Why is this a day off for you? Do you really want to know? I don't want to know, just fix this problem. But yeah, that Sting being Sting in this match.
And did you see the development that happened during the press conference as well?
Yes, I did see that. The nice unsanctioned 6-man paint. The Painmaker is back. Face paint versus face.
I was going to say, my stream
tag team. Sorry, tag team.
I brought it back up, and Jericho was in there yelling at me. What the? Where did Jericho come from? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a tag team. Sex Gods versus Darby and Sting in
tornado
a
tag.
Tag team tornado, unsanctioned. La Painmaker versus
Yeah, so that's happening on
Darby and
Dynamite
Sting,
this week.
which
Jericho made a report of bleed in that moment as
yeah,
well, apparently. I suspect Dynamite is finally
so
the Sammy turning on Jericho moment.
surely it
If
is.
they don't, it's they've
Because
missed it.
yeah,
It's the Cody moment.
which
Do it now
again,
or you miss it.
Jericho, yeah. So because they did it with Garcia as well, didn't they?
Yeah, and he ended up staying.
Yes. So they've done it twice, like 3 times now. The whole like, oh, is he turning? Is he not turning? Bullshit. And yeah,
And I
this will
think that
definitely be the
the
right
first,
moment.
I think the first time they tried to do it with Sammy was very poor timing with his off-screen
Yep,
character
personal life.
moments.
Yes.
So like him like trying to turn and become a babyface was just not going to work. So I think maybe they
Yes.
pulled the reins on it. But now he sort of seems to be getting after
The
that
reaction
whole
they want.
4 pillars storyline. Like he has a bit of
Yeah.
momentum behind him. I think now is the time to pull the trigger and get him away from Jericho finally. Like he's been with Jericho the entire AEW run.
Exactly. And that's kind of the the end of the end of Jericho's run should be him passing the torch to Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
Like have them together the whole time. Like Jericho's contract comes up, he's like, I'm retiring, or I'm going part time, or I'm gonna go do music festivals for the next 8 months. Do the Sammy versus that then, and then have Sammy get that huge, because he's just, that's the moment he needs to cement him, and the fans are finally getting behind him again. Like it's they tried so hard during that 4 pillars at the start, it was very hard to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're organically behind him, but it's one of those things of I wouldn't be shocked if on freaking Dynamite this week, wherever they're from, everyone starts chanting "fuck you, Sammy, go away, we hate you," sort of, or just like X-Pac heat of just like, yeah, we don't give a shit. Cool,
Yeah,
you here? We're gonna buy merch. Bye. Dead silence.
We'll find out on Wednesday, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm feeling this is the moment where he finally separates himself from the pack.
Exactly that, and that's the thing is, surely this leads to Sting versus Jericho. You can't do that on a random Dynamite. Like, surely
I think that's an
not.
all-in match. That's a good all-in match.
Because, okay, let me brain calculations now. Like, we're at the end of, so we've got a month, 2 months before All In.
Yeah, July, and that's the end of August.
Yeah, so like, sure, like it's not the longest time, but it's still a decent time to fill before you lock horns together.
Yeah, well, they've teased Sting Jericho for the last couple of weeks, so by the time they get to All In, that's a good 10-week build. That's plenty of time to really get a story going.
True, you do have Jericho doing all these fuckeries of like sending like Hager to write Sting off by just slamming a car door on his head or whatever, and he disappears for a couple of weeks. And
yeah, and then you can do like Darby versus Menard,
Jericho,
bits and pieces, like keep them floating around and orbiting each other but not touching type thing.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Yes, Sting versus Jericho is a match you chuck on a stadium show like that, and that gets like people that aren't hardcore AEW fans like see that on a poster and go, "Wait, what the fuck? Sting is wrestling against Chris Jericho?"
Yeah,
like, I know both of those people.
Considering also Sting was a TNA icon, and TNA had a huge, huge UK reach, like ridiculously big reach over there. It'd be interesting, and yeah, that's definitely a poster I could picture on the London Underground tube system. Seeing it there, that will help get those last couple 10,000 bars to get them over the all-time record that they are definitely pumping for. Would be better if it was like, say, Goldberg or Guitar Man, just because why the fuck not?
We're obsessed. So yeah,
This
we
show,
got past the total cluster that was that match, and then we
yeah,
went into the main event: Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada.
yep.
First and foremost, it's the final countdown.
I can't believe they actually did that. Like, in fact, Tony Khan's like, yeah, that cost us about what a whole wrestler's contract costs for a
Yeah.
year.
Because he said that they'd been working on that for more than 5 days, which is when the whole
Yeah.
Europe licensing deal recently changed. So yeah,
And
paid a
I
pretty penny for
finally
that.
I sent you the link to the Just Dance 4. The final countdown in that game is in fact wrestling themed.
Of course it is.
They know what it is. Like they know that's that's a hit wink wink. Yeah, we know that has a strong connection to this guy, which is just wild. Brian even saying, yeah, I was angry about non-wrestling related things, and then I heard that song and I was happy.
Yeah. It was like as soon as his Tron started playing, I was like, wait a second. That's not Flight of the Valkyries. So yeah, that was cool.
Going to be stuck in my head for a week.
Sneaky Tony man. He said that this was a one-time deal.
Yeah,
I could maybe do it once more.
Exactly. It's like,
so
yeah.
If they're having if Danielson is fit after apparently breaking his forearm in that match,
yeah,
if he can be good to go by All In,
8 weeks. He did say 6 to 8 weeks due to the great medical staff that AEW has on hand. Yes,
just perfect timing against Nigel McGuinness. Say
that is the one thing that gave me the shits during that whole press conference. Was
he talked about there's a lot of English guys, but that was the one English guy on the roster that he didn't call out.
Exactly. That was kind of gave me the shits. Was like everyone's like, "Oh, you want to see you against British?" And like Brian's face was like, "Oh yeah."
Someone asked the fucking question.
Yeah, it was like, "Oh yeah," because I can't remember who did he say. He said one British guy was. What was the first British guy he said in that press conference? It was.
Well, he said
someone. Zach. That was Zach, and then it was like, and Brian's face like, "Yeah, say it." Will Ospreay, and you could see his face be like, "I do want to face Ospreay, but that's not who I want you to fucking say."
There's another English guy on our roster that I would like to fight. He's calling me a goddamn clam digger.
Exactly. It was like you could see his face go, "Fuck! I have to give like the corporate response of, I would love to face him. He would be a great challenger to face me at X event. It would be fun." So like instead of
Zach, he teased Ospreay.
Yeah.
He mentioned Pac as well as another potential
English
guy. But didn't mention Nigel. And every time I watch ROH, every time Nigel's on commentary, they're always like, looking pretty fit, Nigel.
Yeah, exactly that. Like, because there was that point during his WWE run, like when he was a commentator, where it was like, he's gonna jump the barricade at any point now, right? Like he'd jump at the barricade, he'd jump at that announce desk, and he's getting involved. So, and again, it's that perfect sense, like because like my mind, all out, all in is going to be like how Forbidden Door is. It's a canon, non-canon event. Yeah, fuck it. Even though Brian's in the middle of a BCC feud, fuck it. He's facing Okada because fuck you, why not? That's kind of what I see all in being is fuck it. Brian versus freaking Nigel is happening, and then a week later, then he goes into the match that he's in that storyline with to face. And
the final countdown rings out in Wembley. That's going to be epic.
That is going to make a lot of people very fucking happy. Because I think that's the final frontier of wrestling. Like hope, like and like everyone's like AEW, like oh we're finally getting this thing. Like Punk's got his song. Brian now had final countdown. I can't think of any other like dumb bucket list things.
We got the Punk ROH entrance as well.
Yeah, like I'm trying to like you know what I mean? Like I can't think of any other like bucket list entrances yet. Other than Nigel McGuinness actually showing the fuck up.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. or Guitar Man becoming AEW champion.
Good. Yeah, like if we get, Bryan enters the final countdown, Nigel enters to his Oasis theme song, like that's gonna be mental.
But,
and that's like one of those dream matches where it's like English wrestling fans know Nigel McGuinness, casual wrestling fans know Bryan Danielson.
Yes,
perfect combo, and
perfect.
You hit those ROH vibes, and like, that's one of those matches where
everyone's happy.
It could go on last after a Kenny, and you wouldn't feel weird about it.
Exactly, and like I said, it's not like you're throwing Doug Williams on a random show just because, well, he's British. He's one of the British guys we can put on the show without getting redacted, upset, sort of things. But this match was just Okada showed up to fight. You could definitely tell he was in peak.
It was the New Japan Okada, the fuck these young kids.
Exactly.
Except he was the young kid in this match, which was weird.
He just, that tombstone on the freaking ramp was brutal looking as well. And the one thing I forgot to say, the New Japan announcer the whole show was absolutely incredible. Like
Kevin. Kevin's awesome.
Like the New Japan, like the guy actually saying it.
Oh, the
ring
Japanese.
Announcer. Yeah, the ring announcer. Sorry, the ring announcer. Like, like the fact that you could tell Bryan was like marking out to hearing Bryan Danielson. Like you could tell he was just marking out internally, going like, "This is fucking awesome."
Yeah, this is pretty
cool. Many guys you could see during their entrances when they did the Japanese ones. It's like, this is fucking cool. This is what I wanted.
And I noticed too, like we were minutes into this match, and the entire crowd was still standing up. No one had sat back down, which was crazy.
That's exactly, and this is why I love the 30, like before, I'd say probably close to the 40-minute classic with Kenny and Ospreay. But there was a part in the middle where you did have to. It's going 40 minutes. Okay, we do need 10 minutes of not filler, but we can't go hard for. Yeah, let's take on this match was just a technical beat the shit out of each other the whole time, and the crowd were on their feet the whole time for it because of that.
Yep. Like it was much more technical and slower paced than. Like, I expected it to be technical, but it was just a different kind of technical than I was expecting. Like, it wasn't crazy chain wrestling like we get with like a. Like even the Max Bryan match had a lot more chain wrestling than this. This was just like submission, counter, get out of it, beat each other a bit, come back to another different
drop
submission.
kick, jump over a freaking barricade, all that sort of stuff. Okada being Okada sort of stuff.
That was another production thing that annoyed me. They did the classic Rainmaker rack zoom out.
Yeah.
Holy shit, they did that quick though.
Yeah.
Like New Japan does it, and it's like, it's quick, but it's not like...
Yeah.
That was jarring.
Yeah. You got whiplash from that.
Mm-hmm.
So...
I really enjoyed the match. It didn't hit the heights that I'd sort of had in my head for what this match could be.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. Like, I built up a lot more in my head, but then also when, because did Bryan injure his arm 10 minutes into the match, or when there was 10 minutes left? Because I swear he broke it 10 minutes left, but other people are saying it was 10 minutes into the match.
It was before the tombstone.
Yeah, and that's because I thought he was just selling, like, the fact he, like, got dropped on his head and it's like, oh, my arm's limp, it doesn't work. Yeah, like a stroke patient or whatever.
It was when Okada did the elbow off the top.
Yeah, So, yeah, and, like, they did say, the match was ended early because of that, because, like, it was weird. The show finished before 2 o'clock, which was really weird.
Well, I think 2 was probably meant to be the cutoff, but Bryan did say that they had to change the way it ended because I suspect it was meant to finish with a cattle mutilation.
Yeah, exactly, or like a proper Lavelle lock.
He couldn't actually do that move because he was only unarmed.
And the fact
actually
that he was
kind of
still
works.
one-armed.
It kind of works well for a potential story. Like, they've left a lot on the table.
Yes.
Bryan can go around being like, I beat the apparent best in the world with one arm. Okada
Yeah.
can be like super pissed off about it. Rematch in Tokyo Dome?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Because I'm like, because Kevin Kelly did say, this story is not over.
Mhm.
And there is no way this story is over. But yeah, it will be interesting to see if they do go down that route.
Well,
Because that's the thing, I thought, does Okada win the G1 instead of calling out Sonata? Goes, fuck it, I want Bryan.
yeah,
But then
maybe.
that's also kind of a waste of a G1 when you could just have Bryan just show up and be like, let's fight. Okay, Tokyo Dome. Okay, let's go. You don't need to win the G1 to
Yeah, I could see
do it.
someone else winning the G1. Like, Okada doesn't need another G1 win.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like winning the Royal Rumble and turning and saying, oh, instead of going for the title, I just want to fight my rival instead. Technically, I think it could happen, but it doesn't make sense. You don't need to do that. So,
yeah,
but
I could easily see someone else winning the G1. Like, wouldn't shock me. And
that's the
Naito
thing.
or
Like,
someone.
that's it. The G1 final is definitely where I reckon. Because I was thinking, like, okay, do they do it before the Tokyo Dome? But then it's also, well, no, because there's no real big shows between here and the Tokyo Dome except for the G1 finals.
Dominion's already have it.
Yeah, Dominion's already passed. Like, that's the thing. Like, the G1 finals is a big show, but that's the finals of the G1, so that's not where you would do the Bryan rematch because theoretically Okada's in the
Okada's
G1
gonna
finals.
still be involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know, maybe they just have him like interrupt the match and that costs like Okada to win or something.
That's what I'm thinking. And then, like, they definitely need to do a rematch. Like, Okada gets his win back in the Tokyo Dome, which is just,
It's like the
you know
perfect
what I mean?
politic play. Like, yes, we can do Bryan Okada at Forbidden Door, but we want Bryan Okada in exchange for Tokyo Dome.
At the Tokyo, because that's at the end of the day, he gives a shit if he won the match at the Bells Arena or whatever it's called in that. Okada won in the Tokyo Dome. That's where Okada win all his matches.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? Like, it's like that's classic Okada booking. Okada loses the New Japan World Title at a random, like not even Dominion, like Summerfest, like shows they do. To Sonata, and then lol, Okada wins it back at the in the Tokyo Dome and all his runs in the world.
Also, the fact that Okada actually tapped out is a pretty big moment as well.
Huge. Like, I was shocked by that.
First time he has tapped since 2015 in the G1 against Nakamura.
That's huge. Like, that is a huge.
What, 8 years since he last tapped out?
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild.
Yeah.
So, like,
and
it's a huge win for Bryan, even though like Bryan doesn't need a huge win like that. But
he kind of did, because like you think about like when was his last big AEW win?
That's true.
Exactly that. Like your silence kind of was like, yeah, exactly that. He never beat Kenny, so he did need that huge New Japan win, and like Okada's kind of non-IWGP Okada is a different beast to IWGP champion Okada, so he can lose these random ass matches.
Yeah.
Then he wins the belt back, and then he gets all these wins back. So,
like we said, they left a lot on the table for this. And
a
rematch is pretty much a given at this point.
Exactly that, like 100%. I would not be shocked if after the G1 finals, Bryan shows up and be like, "Hey, Tokyo Dome, I'm going to kick your fucking head in. Let's go."
Even if he doesn't even have to like show up at the event. Like, they could just do the same thing.
The video package. Yeah.
But like have it play as Okada's about to go for like the Rainmaker in like a G1 final, and then because he like stops and looks at the video, gets caught in like some weird roll up or a counter to it, and ends up losing, and he's like, "Well, fuck you! You just cost me the G1. Like, let's do this."
Exactly that. Like, fired up Okada is always the best Okada. Like, it's Okada booking. He always like loses the match, and then he comes back 30 times pissed off and goes, "No, fuck this, I'm winning," and just beats the shit out of someone.
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
Exactly.
So, in terms of match of the night, pretty obvious which one.
Yeah.
It was like, it's match of the year, so hard to top.
Yeah.
Will
Exactly.
versus Kenny.
Yeah, exactly. There was no Guitar Man on the show, so I couldn't even give him my pick. So yeah, no, definitely that is by far match of the night. Like that is absolutely incredible. Like I messaged my mate who watches New Japan, but only when I like sit him down and be like, I'll give you pizza and beer if you come and watch the show with me. He's like, okay, I'll come watch it. Like I messaged him going like, you need to like I was waiting for the trilogy to end, but I'm like, no. You need to watch these two. You know,
Yeah,
don't wait
watch
for the
these.
trilogy to end. Yeah.
Watch these two. Get ready for All In.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? Like get ready for me to message you. Wake the fuck up at 2 a.m. in the morning. Let's watch this shit.
Yeah. And then overall show rating. What would you give this show out of 5?
I'd give it like a 4.5. Like it's almost perfect. It is the shot in the arm the show needed. Like after watching Double or Nothing, like I was very shitty at the show. Like it was very much I took a day off work to watch this crap. This was now I remember why I schedule my annual leave around, New Japan, like AEW shows. Like, there, like I said, if it wasn't for the sloppiness in the Sting match, it would have been perfect. But even then, like your perfect show is your perfect show. Like, like 4.7. Like I said, it is near perfect. Like everything was perfect. Everything delivered. Even the shit that wasn't meant to deliver, like the random like Tony Storm match, like it still entertained me. It still had me sitting on the couch, entertained the whole show.
Yeah, so I gave it 5 out of 5 because, yeah, like you said, it's pretty much perfect. Like, I couldn't have added really much to this or taken anything away. I think the only thing I would have added is like maybe some sort of like surprise. Like, there was no real
That's
shock
exactly
moments.
that's
Jungle Boy was the biggest shock of the show.
that's exactly why I'm like
And Final
4.7.
Countdown, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I'm like it's a 4.7. It's like it's perfect, but like if you had your Sasha Banks, Monet showing up, like your random whoa, like your phone blows up moment.
Yeah,
Instead, it was
the
just
All In 2021.
yeah, exactly that. Yeah,
The Bryan Adam debut back to back. Like, you just needed that one little thing to like tip it to that out of the park.
Which actually reminds me, like the Adam Cole match that was cut from it. Like, where would that have slotted into things? Like, was that meant to go on after the MJF match? He gets the win. MJF stays at ringside to be like, oh, watch what shit you're doing. Like,
yeah, I don't know where that would have fit. Like,
that's it. Like, we've been talking for like an hour and a half, and I completely freaking forgot. Like, I've been wearing the shirt all day. It wasn't until I looked at myself, like, oh yeah, he was meant to be on the show.
yeah, I'm just looking at like maybe I don't know.
Like, yeah,
you wouldn't wanted to put it after Will and Kenny. Like, that would have been.
That's it. But like, do you do it after the MJF match just to do the whole story of MJF stays at ringside, watches his teammate slash yeah. So it'd be interesting. Like that's definitely. And
yeah,
again,
that's a weird thing.
Didn't even.
They cut a match.
It didn't subscribe. It didn't like.
It didn't take anything away from the show.
Yeah, like again, we went the whole thing talking about everything without even remembering that was a thing.
Yeah, normally if a match gets scrapped the day of, you're like, oh, that really took something away, but this one really didn't. I guess because it wasn't like, it's not a match that had been promoted for weeks. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't Adam Cole versus Hiromu Takahashi.
Yeah.
Like, if we'd lost like that sort of level of a match, we'd be like, oh, this sucks. But it was Adam versus Tom. Like, okay.
Exactly. I'm convinced. Like I seen like a good meme, like a good joke about it, which was someone used their monkey paw back in like 2007 to get rid of Cole versus Lawler at WrestleMania 27, but they didn't specify WrestleMania 27, so they got rid of Adam Cole versus Tom Lawler.
You idiot.
It's like the perfect oh yeah, that joke worked really well. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's AEW and New Japan Forbidden Door 2023. Very keen for Forbidden Door 2024.
Yep. We get to see a
Where's
kind of
it?
Forbidden Door tomorrow.
Where is it going to be?
I have to think it's got to be Tokyo Dome. Like Japan's now properly open. Oh, I
Hmm.
think so. I'm not a travel expert.
It
Okay,
is.
I have people for them. Okay, I would like to think now that they're really proper open, you can turn around and go, okay, we are doing a show at the Tokyo Dome. We are sending 30 people over and not have to worry about shit. The Japanese government have turned around and said only five are allowed in because we're only allowed to have five Americans in a closed space at any time, like the Aussie rule that exists. You know,
Yeah, I think the next one has to be in Japan.
I would have to think so. It
Even
would
if it's not
have to be.
Tokyo Dome, like even if it's like
You have to do
where they
Tokyo.
run like Dominion,
Sumo Hall, yeah. I
Sumo
know what
Hall
you
would be
mean.
cool.
Yeah, I think Sumo Hall's the next big one. Fuck
Yeah,
it,
it
make a
is.
Kawasaki Stadium.
Yeah, I just think the next one has to be Japan. Like that would make
It
sense. Like
has, it has to be.
Japan, US, like backwards and
That's
forwards, which I think was probably what the plan was initially. But
which is good they did in Canada because it's kind of like a neutral ground,
yeah,
which again they never really played up. Like you would think they would have gone, oh, this is on neutral ground, and neither of us are Commonwealth countries or whatever bullshit. It's just this is Kenny Omega's backyard was the story for the show, but definitely they have to go to Japan next year. Like that is 1 billion%. You know, Mox has got his visa sorted, so
which
it mustn't
also
be that
like
hard.
would potentially bode well for Australia as well because fuck it, if you're going to fly a good proportion of your roster to Japan,
Mm.
you might as well fly them to Australia and do a tour the week after.
The only problem there is because you have like TBS needs their live because like I only remember this because of
Not
like
necessarily.
freaking like
Collision's
you know what I
taped
mean?
this week.
Yeah, but like again, this is shit that's way over our heads. Like I do remember during like the whole pandemic was Vince was having like a mental breakdown because the contract with Raw and SmackDown was he was only allowed to do 3 taped Raws per year. And it was like having like mental breakdown because like he'd done 10 because they had to film 10 and like NBC are
Before
like, no,
everything
no,
got
no.
fully shut.
We understand. We're not going to force you to do a live show. This is a very different circumstances, but the contract does say you're only allowed 3 taped shows a year, which was the UK shows from Birmingham and all that stuff there. That's why they were always taped, was because they were allowed to do that. But it would make sense because that's one of the things. Like I was thinking about the whole show. I'm like, it sucks for Japan because you can't just send Mox. Like you can kind of send Mox, but like you got to go from Texas to California, which is like a 3-hour flight. Then California to Japan, which I think is about 10 hours. Then get off the flight, do your match, then do the 13-hour flight home.
Yeah, well, that's what we saw with Claudio at the last
Yeah, you
New
like
Japan
what I
show.
mean.
Like arrived hours like
Yeah,
as the show was happening.
versus like when they go to the UK, it's a 6-hour flight, 5.5 hours if you're lucky.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's double the amount of time, sort of thing there. So it kind of sucks for them. And like sending New Japan talent over, it's like 13, like it's up to 16-hour flight depending on where they're taping the show at. But it would be nice if they did do the Forbidden Door. It's like, well, we're in the Asian Pacific area. Let's just head down under for a little bit, especially considering, hey, we got fucking GCW doing a show down here next month. Nothing shocks me at all.
Yeah, and like they have 2 big shows a week now. So you could do your Forbidden Door Sunday in Japan, then travel down to Australia on the Monday, run Dynamite in Sydney on Wednesday,
Yeah.
Thursday, like
Yeah.
Or they would probably do Wednesday, so that then they could
They do it Wednesday
they
and
could
then
have
tape
it
it like they do the
tape
UK
for the
sort of thing.
US. So
Yeah.
you run your Dynamite and your Rampage taping in Sydney, and then you
Melbourne
fly to
Collision.
Melbourne and run Collision ROH.
Yeah. Which is what WCW did back in the year 2000.
Like, that'd be perfect. Like, that hits your two major cities in Australia, and then you're out.
Yeah, exactly. And look, if they did Forbidden Door in Japan, there'd be a lot of conversations of, hey, Jamie, let's go to Japan. How good your Japanese skills? Let's go. I've told Louisa it's fine. We're going to go see the cherry blossoms or whatever. They're in season at this time, I think.
Yeah, it's summer. Makes it sound about right.
Yeah, they're in season anyway. She doesn't need to know.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Forbidden Door Japan, Australia AEW tour this time next
That
year.
is definitely, like I said, everything going on down here at the moment, it would not shock me at all to see a AEW show very soon, especially considering they got the UK crossed off their list.
Mm-hmm.
UK is a very good, like, hey, let's iron out the kinks. Australia's always been the, let's do a trial run down there and see what happens, especially if the WWE thing about Perth is legit. You know, they would definitely want to make some waves down here and form some relationships.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like really good venues to run at now. With Sydney's got some new stadiums. Melbourne's obviously got the MCG. They've got a.
I would be interested if Rod Laver has like a no compete with WWE, because like every other arena in the US has that, like WWE, like no one else is allowed to run there but for us.
Yeah, maybe they probably don't here in Australia because they don't get enough.
Yeah, I was gonna say because of shit about Australia.
And even if they do, like, run a, was it Federation?
The Margaret. No, I was gonna say Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Court.
Yeah, the one next door to it, the tiny little one that NXT ran.
Yeah, or run the smaller football stadium where the Melbourne Storm play.
Or actually, no, that reminds me, because I did message you about it. Was because Festival Hall is now open for wrestling, and like I said during the news report, they did explicitly say boxing and wrestling will be on the cards to come back here, which was very interesting that they did explicitly say wrestling is coming back, which that perked my ears up a lot. Going, that wasn't a misspeaking or whatever aspect there. So we'll see.
That could be interesting. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow Jason on Twitter at JasonWookie with 2 E's. And you can follow me on social media at Jamie Ups Media and at Pario Magazine. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Ups Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Ups Media. The following people supported at the publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support.